Welcome in, everybody, to another MLS Monday by Scarves and Spikes. Tyler, Henry, Sydney here with you guys. Oh, no, my computer's doing weird stuff.
Uh-oh.
We're off to some great technical difficulties today.
Mine works just fine, by the way.
Well, I'm so glad because mine started doing some ghost stuff with the mouse, and I almost exited out of this entire show.
That would have been great.
It's a Monday night. It's been a busy weekend in MLS. We have lots to talk about. But how are y'all?
We have some breaking news. We don't get to yet, but maybe a little later on. Some news that broke maybe a few hours before we got in the air here, Tyler. So looking forward to a lot more to talk about, Henry. I'm buckled in. Are you ready?
Well, yeah. When you said breaking news, I thought it had just
no.
And I was like,
no. Sorry.
I was trying to pull up Tom Bogert's Twitter real quick to see if I'd missed something. But yeah, no, I'm excited. We got a lot to talk about this week. A lot happened this weekend in the world of MLS, and we have quite a bit of soccer this week as well. MLS slate over the weekend and Leagues Cup semis on Wednesday
night.
I'm really excited about. But yeah, super excited to talk soccer with y'all and with some special guests we're gonna have.
We're gonna have Joshua Ray and Nathan Durek from my mind has totally
Terminal City FC.
I'm losing my mind, dude. I came in hot. I gotta tell you a story. All right, they were laughing at me because when we got on, we were getting ready to go live. I was coming in hot, and all you could see was like the top half of my head. You know? And the first thing Sydney says is, "You got to adjust your camera." And I was like, "I'm well aware. I know." Came in shirtless, man.
Okay, that's too much information. Too much information.
Okay.
It was like I don't have pants on. Whatever, you know. But
having said that, you should join the Patreon where at our $50 tier you can get Tyler coming in hot
at the After Dark tier.
Yeah. It's way after dark. I don't want to see that, but no, seriously, join a Patreon though. Not for that reason, but
for all the other awesome content that we have exclusive interview audio, Q&As, our unfiltered series. We do tons of really cool stuff there, and you get access to our Discord where we have some fun conversations about all things Atlanta United and beyond, not just soccer, but other fun stuff. We have a food channel, we have a pirate channel, which I still am mind boggled about, but and we have some other really cool stuff, and we can't wait to add y'all to our awesome community.
Join us. We'd love to have you.
100%. And yes, again, not trying to take the spotlight off of Nathan and Joshua for joining, but yeah, Terminal City FC, Vancouver podcast, Vancouver coverage. As y'all know, Vancouver has been on one, and we have a very interesting story to talk about with Vancouver later on.
What happened in Vancouver, by the way?
Something about refereeing. You know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Because pro referees is always right and never questionable.
Infallible.
In the slightest.
Infallible.
They do perfect.
There's zero controversy when it comes to pro, and we love them so much.
I know.
They're my favorite. Before we get into that, because that'll definitely be part of the conversation with Joshua and Nathan.
Yeah.
Sydney, you threw this up in the notes, and we are now officially at the end of the summer transfer window, or the MLS secondary window, as it is formally known.
Yes.
Who had the best summer window overall in Major League Soccer?
I mean, LAFC by far. I mean, you bring in Son Heung-min, Heung-min Son. You bring him in to strengthen your roster. You bring him in to strengthen your team as he not only look to make a run toward MLS Cup in 2025, but beyond. Try to position your side as one of the best in MLS. And we'll talk about Son a little bit later on. We'll talk about LAFC a little bit later on. But, you know, he's doing his thing. He scored an absolute banger, guys, against FC Dallas, as we all saw. So LAFC, you know, definitely deserves a good shout. It wasn't the only move they made, guys, but obviously the most significant one that came out of the summer transfer window, the secondary transfer window. So I think certainly LAFC had the biggest one. And again, when you bring in a player, any player, you look for him to make an immediate impact. When you bring a player, a world-class player like Son is, who has certainly experience in the Premier League, speaks for itself. you expect that immediate impact, and you expect him to make waves on your side, waves on your team right away. He's certainly done that coming out of the gate. Obviously, a big one this weekend coming up against San Diego FC at BMO Stadium. That's going to be his home debut. How does he do there? That's going to be must-see TV is what I'm trying to say. So that's who I think had the best transfer window is LAFC. Henry, what do you think?
Well, number one for me has to go to LAFC as well. Son is obviously the big headliner, and you just talked about it, but also the fact that they added, Mathieu Chouanier, who has basically come in and become a key contributor right off the bat. They have just added this other Irish dude whose name I'm trying to remember. Andrew Moran, sorry, from Brighton. Ryan Porteous. I mean, they've just made several additions to a squad that's already solid. So much so that to me, they have to take the number one spot. But I want to talk about someone else just to bring another team into the conversation.
It's easy to forget really quick that this was also part of the window. They got rid of Giroud.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
That ties into it.
Yeah.
And mind you, they still have a DP slot open, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but going away from LAFC, my number 2 pick for best offseason, or not offseason, best summer window. As an Atlanta fan, I already want to go to the offseason. Apologies. My second best summer window will be Columbus Crew. They added finally their number 9 replacement for Cucho Hernandez and Wissam Abu Ali, transfer from Al Ali. He debuted with a goal, and that's the best that you could do. But it wasn't just that he scored. It was the way he scored it. It felt so like he made it look very easy. It was kind of a volley-ish that he hit, and he just kind of like just like no big deal, just like put it into the net. Like, I'm a chill guy. I'm just here to score goals, and he did that. Yeah, I mean, he looks great. Honestly, if we got a small sample size of him in that game, but he looked solid, and yeah, I think he'll be the real deal for Columbus. But also, they went and added Hugo Picard in midfield from Guingamp. Shout out to our good friend Tristan Miumba, who also came from Guingamp, by the way.
Yep.
But Picard, just a really, really solid, kind of well-rounded midfielder to add to a midfield that already has Darlington Nagbe. We know how good he is. Yeah, I mean, it's just a really good addition. And I mean, this guy on Twitter, Zolf, has been raving about him, so he must be good, right? But no, seriously, I mean, his stats, his numbers look good. Looking kind of the eye test as well. He's just an all-around good midfielder. So, yeah, that's my number 2 pick.
Before Tyler goes, you said Abu Ali scored against the Revs, or do you mean somebody else?
It might have actually. I think it was. It might have been. Yeah, no, I might be confusing. I swear I could have saw him score.
I wouldn't have caught that.
It might have been. It might have been.
I missed
He scored in the Club World Cup against Porto. He had a hat trick.
Yeah, he had a hat trick. I think he did score, and he got called offside because I swear I could remember him scoring.
Yeah. That's probably what you saw.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. Sorry, I when I watch these games,
revisionist history here.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you caught it, but I'm having to watch like 5 games at the same time for MLS because we do coverage of all the games on the Spanish side, and so I literally have like 5 games that I have to keep up with, and I just don't remember when one of the goals gets called off. So thanks for clarifying that for our audience. I don't want there to be any confusion.
No problem. What do you think, Tyler?
For me, I mean, again, I agree with you. I think LA definitely up there. I got to give a shout out to Vancouver as well, not just because we have our friends coming on, but I mean, any team that adds Thomas Müller is going to be better. So, and that's a hit. I could say the same thing about Miami with Rodrigo de Paul. These are just players that you get them in, and that instantly changes things. It instantly puts you near the top of the list. So those are up there. But for me, and Gray touched on it, I think Cincinnati had a banger of an offseason. And I feel like it's been kind of low key because you've had like the big transfer sagas going on with LA and with Vancouver and with Miami and everything else. But I mean, here near the end, they brought back Brenner.
Yeah.
So they bring back a known quantity, which I hope their known quantity does a lot better for them than Atlanta's known quantity has at this point
Right.
for him. Anyway,
They're going to say better than Aaron Bupensta,
Yeah,
but that certainly is true as well.
when I first saw the rumor of because what I saw was a former Cincinnati player coming back, and I was like,
Yeah.
surely this would not be a thing, right?
Right.
But it's not just Brenner. I mean, you have a handful of other guys, Dominic Marchuk, Samuel, I think it's Guidi, I think is how it's pronounced. Ender, Eshenique. I mean, there's young guys, but like it's been maybe kind of low key besides the Brenner one, but Cincinnati's already playing so well.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this with a handful of teams. If they can just make those right little tweaks, nothing big, nothing crazy, then it does nothing but better their entire season and their future going into 2026. Because like we've said it on the show a lot of these teams, LA included, this in a way is just the appetizer for 2026. Because like you talk about LAFC, you get Son, another whatever, whether it's a right winger, whatever you want to do with Denny Bouanga if he stays, but you get the right pieces around him, and suddenly they're looking like a team that can't miss MLS Cup next year.
Yeah.
And I think Cincinnati's kind of in that same boat. So we'll see kind of where it goes. But I think there's about 5 or 6 teams that have had phenomenal summer windows.
Right. I got to take back what I said about Aaron Bupensta. Obviously, he passed in April, so I didn't mean to make light of that. But certainly what you're saying.
But doesn't he have a brother?
Just better than Bupensta, I don't know. I feel like he is, but yeah. I didn't mean to say that, but yeah, no. But like you said, Brenner certainly no quantity. Tremendous success with FC Dallas, FC Cincinnati during his first spell here at MLS, and I think this kind of came together. Tyler, Henry, bringing back Brenner. I mean, we didn't hear about it leading up, and then a few days before the transfer window officially closed, it came out. I think it was Laurel Failer who officially or first reported it, or Tom Booger, I forget which, that said, this could happen. He could be on loan from, where is he from again? I apologize. I should have this in front of me, but he's going to be brought in on loan and brought back to. He was
in Serie A.
Yeah, Udinese. So they're looking to bring him on loan from Udinese or Udinese. But yeah, again, like he said, player that knows MLS inside and out, has been with the club already, has had success, 18 goals in 2022. So yeah, Cincinnati definitely, like you said, sneaky good transfer window, and like you said, easy to forget about DePaul, easy to forget about Son, Müller, or not easy to forget about them. It's easy to forget about other moves when you think about Son, DePaul, Müller. So certainly 100% agree with you on that, and other teams too, but those were the ones that really stood out, I think. And
one final one I'll give is another, I guess, runner-up, and it's solely for, I don't want to say them having the cojones to do it, but just the fact that they went and did it, is Toronto and moving on from the Italians. I think it had to happen. I think it was probably pretty plain as day, but like, it's still one of those things that you got to pony up the money to do those buyouts, so that sets up Toronto, I think, at least for a pretty potentially good winter window. We'll see.
And bringing in Mihailovic from Colorado too. Let's not forget that. And then Colorado bringing over Paxton Aronson over from Eintracht Frankfurt. So a couple other moves that not under the radar, but certainly good players in their own right. So again, kind of get lost in the shuffle with the bigger moves, but certainly want to call this out as well.
Yeah. Henry, anything before we get Nathan and Joshua in here?
Now let's get them in here. We got some stuff to talk about.
We do.
Let's get Nathan and Joshua in here. I imagine not much to discuss, though.
Pretty plain day in MLS for y'all this weekend.
Yeah, pretty much.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Pretty good.
Absolutely. So I guess really quick, just because God, Atlanta and Vancouver don't play, and typically, we're normally an Atlanta podcast, but this is our MLS show. But people that pay attention to us might not know y'all or a lot about Vancouver as a whole. So just, I guess, give y'all's intros real quick.
Yeah, for sure. I'm Nathan Durek, partner Joshua Ray. We've been hosting the Terminal City FC podcast up here in Vancouver now for, I don't know, what, 4 years? Something like that, yeah. Obviously, we cover the Vancouver Whitecaps, especially MLS, but from a Canadian slant. So talk a lot about the CPL up here, the Women's Pro League that started up in its inaugural season up here, the NSL, and the national teams as they try to make their push in various tournaments.
Yeah, I'm Joshua Ray, also partner with Nathan for Terminal City FC podcast. I write for F1 Sports Network about Whitecaps, MLS, national teams, even some NHL stuff as well. And the podcast, as Nathan said, Whitecaps, Canadian leagues, national teams, and even some European stuff.
Sweet.
Very nice.
So I'll kick us off and let you guys dive in with this one. And then I know Sydney and Henry over here have some things to talk about with specifically this past weekend.
Just a few. Just a little.
I guess to start off with the appetizer and keep it easy real quick. Just take us through the season as a whole, because Vancouver, I think many people were guilty of saying, well, they're just not going to do a whole lot this season, expected back in February. And we were referring to Vancouver nobly as the Supporter Shield leading Vancouver Whitecaps for quite some time this season. And things have kind of happened, obviously, tournaments and fixture congestion maybe got in the way a little bit. But as a whole, just talk to us about the season.
Yeah, it's
Josh.
Nobody expected this. Remember, in February, there was doubts whether the club would stay in Vancouver, given they were up for sale. That has since kind of changed a little. Many people didn't know about Jesper Sorensen. People questioned the firing of Vanni Sartini. Stuart Armstrong, the DP, left after just 3 months. So there were so many questions surrounding the Whitecaps. But early season, they defied expectations, went to the Champions Cup final. Of course, as you said, fixture congestion, injuries, sickness, even international call-ups has kind of died things down. But yeah, the Whitecaps are in dreamland for the most part this season. Sorensen has the Whitecaps playing beautiful possession-based football. And then to add the cherry on top, they signed Thomas Müller, which nobody expected.
Yeah, it's really difficult to talk much more about that. I mean, at the beginning of the season, most educated MLS pundits out there had the Whitecaps finishing either 14th or 15th in the West. I don't think none of us kind of based in Vancouver really thought that. We figured that this is a playoff potential team, but again, like every other year, just kind of sneaking in. If they could get into like a top 8 or a top 6, that would be beautiful. Nobody expected them to be competing for a supporter field. That's unheard of. Nobody expected them to be making any sort of inroads into, Champions Cup or, doing anything like what they were doing with that. The fact that they've also been able to do this facing adversity. Our captain has been injured since about the second, third month of the season. We have season-ending injuries to 2 of our starting defenders. The fact that they've been able to not only take this on, but grow with it. We're seeing performances from players that we weren't actually expecting to be able to basically either compete this early in their very young careers or to, step up and kind of, take their opportunities as they were given to them. And it's just been great to see. I mean, to put it this way, the Whitecaps are on 49 points already this year. They finished last season with 47. So, the fact that we still have, a couple of more months of season to go, it's been a fun ride.
So let's talk about Thomas Müller, who was in the headlines on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I tweeted about it on my X account, and Harjo Hall, who covers, of course, the Whitecaps, as you all know her. She kind of joked that maybe the Whitecaps were due for some VAR relief. And certainly it looks like, you all kind of benefited from maybe what a lot of people are calling maybe fortuitous call for the Whitecaps. So, I mean, just kind of tell us what the discussion has been around that, what happened on Saturday. Obviously, good to see Müller get his first goal, of course, but just kind of talk about the decision and just what you guys have heard, what the referees have said about it, and just how it's all kind of come together up there.
Let's put it this way. For us, it was Thomas Müller's second goal because he actually scored on his debut, and it was a goal that was erroneously chalked off.
It was a banger. It was a good goal.
Yeah. It really was.
Yeah, I know.
It
It
really
was a tough one. But I would say for the most part, I think most Whitecaps fans are taking this kind of from a more season-looking, pragmatic, philosophical approach. We've had a lot of calls are against us. I mean, the Müller goal just the game before. We had the whole Tim Ford debacle version 2 for us, I think the game or two before that. The fact that we had something go our way was a bit of a surprise. It's not something we're accustomed to. So I think we fully know we may have gotten a call that was not deserved, but we're going to take it.
Yeah, you mentioned like Tim Ford debacle and Müller goal being disallowed last week. It's, soccer gods giveth, the soccer gods taketh. That's kind of how it is, how we see it, because the Whitecaps don't really get these type of calls, and it feels weird being on the other side. But I'm sure people are wondering, what do we think of the penalty? For me, that's not a penalty. Clear as day.
No.
Never.
People have argued to me that, the knee catches Laborda on the back of his leg, but you don't fall like that, even just a little nudge. And I think Laborda did a good job selling it. So I don't know what the VAR saw. Maybe they had another angle of it, but no way that's not a penalty. But the Whitecaps will take it, and so will anyone up here in Vancouver, because they need to win.
It was kind of funny. There was 3 different penalty shouts within this game. 2 were given. The one that wasn't given is the one that actually seems most likely to have been a penalty.
Yeah,
that
one was on Emmanuel Sabi in the first half, and Jesper Sorensen said that one should have been called.
Yeah, probably fair, but it might not have been a penalty, but it was a Thomas Müller goal in his first start for the Vancouver Whitecaps. I just want to get y'all's kind of first reaction, like when y'all first heard the news that okay, maybe Thomas Müller could be coming to Vancouver. Like, what was y'all's reaction? And then when it started to look like, okay, yeah, this is happening, right? Like, take me kind of through what was going through y'all's head when y'all realized that a World Cup winner, just a global star, is coming to Vancouver of all places.
Well, I think the first that any of us heard of it was during the All-Star match. That it was talked about there as a rumor, and no, you threw that out. That was unheard of. It was silly, even. I remember hearing about it, I think, a couple of days later, and I still didn't even hear about it. It wasn't until we started hearing people like Tom Bogart or Manuel Veth talking about it, where you're thinking, okay, there's a little bit of smoke going on here. Obviously, our CEO and sporting director of the Whitecaps, Axel Schuster, was throwing water on any smoke out there, saying this isn't happening. It's forget it. A couple of days after that, we knew that there was something happening. There was a lot of talk, and the fact that this just seemed to be a story that wasn't going away. We started asking the questions, and it became a lot more difficult for the Whitecaps to deny it. When it got announced, Axel actually ended up having to do a press conference about a week before the trade even happened, saying yes, this is happening. Now it's just a matter of we need lawyers to talk about it. That was unfortunately the big sticking point. They needed tax lawyers from 3 different countries to figure out how to actually make this work, because you had Canada, US, and Germany involved in this, and that's why it took as long as it took. I don't know. It's surreal. This is for as much of a hockey country as Canada is, and as Vancouver is as a city. This is probably the biggest signing that any sort of local sports franchise has ever made. And it's funny that it happens to be soccer.
And it's awesome. Like, so for me personally, I'm a big Munich fan. Munich, the Allianz was the first foreign stadium I ever went to. And so Munich always, I kind of hold a special place for me. So But having followed them for so long, and obviously Müller being like the face of the franchise for so long, you kind of get used to his personality. And I think to me, it was hilarious seeing like in his first press conference after the match, essentially giving away like that Tristan Blackman was getting called up. I was like,
yeah, I was sitting about 5 feet away from him when he did that. And you can see right away. You're looking at the communications director, and he was just kind of almost in shell shock. Okay, well, it's out.
Nothing you can do now.
Press conference, by the way.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
But that's
At least he gives him. I'm like Messi, so I'll just say that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Least-
true.
I would say in Vancouver, we're used to very candid press conferences, especially with the few years that we had with Vanni Sartini. So we're used to them being lively and uncensored.
Yeah, and he was great for a handful of headline titles. Like it was great. So yeah, y'all definitely got the entertainment value just in the post match stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Can y'all imagine if Vanni Sartini and Thomas Müller were there at the same time? Like that'd be wild.
that would have been something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a fun night after a post match.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Thomas Müller. I also want to give a quick shout out to our friend Johannes Schneider at the Atlanta United Communications Department. Biggest Bayern fan that I know. He's actually German, and so he's been pretty pumped about this, and he's really hoping that Atlanta plays Vancouver next season because that'd be huge.
We'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's hit and miss how many times we play someone on the Eastern.
When was the last time Atlanta played Vancouver?
I can't really remember.
Honestly,
2018, I think.
I was actually trying to take
2018. It might have been 20.
I don't think Vancouver's been down there, but I know if they've been up here.
Yeah, they've never been in Atlanta.
Yeah,
so that's the secret to Atlanta United being bad is just never playing Vancouver again. All right. But in serious light, Thomas Müller, you've gotten 2 games now with him. What are y'all's early impressions of him? I mean, the play. I imagine there's also a leadership aspect because he got the captain's armband in his first start. I mean, tell me all about y'all's reactions to him actually hitting the field and wearing the Whitecaps jersey.
And it's one thing watching him on TV all these years, being that interpreter of space or Raumdeuter, but seeing it in person, it's something else. He knows where to be. He's trying to find space for himself. He's even making slide tackles. And then you mentioned the leadership aspect. For the second he came on, he was directing the players, telling them where to go, what to do. Even with a captain's armband, he even said himself, I don't need the armband to lead because I'm a natural leader. And it's just, this is the player that, why he's one of the most decorated players of all time, a World Cup winner, a legend. And to have him here and to bring what he brings to already unified locker room, a very exciting system, makes this team more exciting to watch.
Yeah, the one thing I will say with the leadership thing, Vancouver's kind of been in a funny position where our captain went out injured early in the season. So Ranko Veselinovic stepped in as the assistant, wore the armband. Guy does his ACL in, now he's out. Other guys that might take that armband, Sam Akube, things like that, they're out for the season. Brian White had been wearing it, but he's not a guy that necessarily is comfortable with that role. It seemed that once Müller stepped in, and he had a conversation, with Sorensen, with Brian White to say like I don't need this, but it was kind of a collective decision that, if you're going to be here, this is something that you have done in previous situations, roll with it. And for right now, he even said like Ryan Gauld is our captain. Yeah. He's the captain. But if he's not going to be on the pitch, I can take that role.
What's the prognosis for Gauld? I mean, it's supposed to be, not a long-term injury, but relatively medium-term injury, but he's still not back. He hasn't played but a few matches in 2025. When is he due back, do you guys think?
It's very
Matt, it's been the weirdest injury with him. They've called it a kneecap sprain. Basically, he went to jump for a ball, landed, and right away knew something was happening. Obviously, when you see that happening, you think ACL, MCL, but they're not. They haven't said that. He hasn't. But it just, whatever it is, it took a much longer. He is back in training. He is doing things on the pitch now, But man, to get him to that point took a long time. What the prognosis is, I don't even know if they know sometimes. Because for a longest time, it was like one more week. Nope, this is something long term. Now it's just he's back when he comes back.
Yeah, it's been like the past few months. Oh, maybe a few more weeks. Oh, maybe a month. And from what I know, the club doesn't really want to rush him because they want him to be 100%. And it's just been really weird because it feels like there's been a setback, but they don't really want to disclose that. But yeah, he's been in the gym. He's been training on his own mostly. But Sorensen said on local radio here last week that he hopes to have Gall back sometime next month, but you never know.
No.
The one thing is I think because of how well the Whitecaps have been doing without him, is it's given them license to give him the time to get better. If this was any other year, they would have been really pushing for him to try and get back because they relied so heavily, not only on his leadership, but just his presence on the pitch. How they're doing, they haven't needed to do that. And I think that's not only a credit to the team, but a credit to, Gall being able to take that step back.
And it's almost like a if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of situation. Like it's worked out so well despite everything that's happened. That it's like, hey man, take all the time you need, please.
We know that when he is 100% healthy, he's going to slot in. He's one of those first names on a team sheet, and it's going to be like he never left. Like we know that, but the fact that we can give someone this time, I say let him take it.
So I've got one more before we get you guys rolling, and we appreciate you guys taking the time, and we can sit here and do this all night.
Happy to have us.
But I just wanted to ask, kind of the overall opinions, and I'm sure they're great, but I guess maybe like in as much detail as you guys can provide. What is the overall vibe with Jesper Sorensen as he's kind of stepped in? I mean, obviously, it's always great to come in and immediately start doing as well as Vancouver's done. But what do the fans kind of think overall?
Yeah.
For the most part, when he came in, people were like, oh, we don't know much about this guy, but he has a lot of experience coaching at the top level. Hey, he almost won the Danish league title last season, and unfortunately lost it on the last day. So he came in with experience, which previous coaches didn't come in with. And then when he came in, he said, yeah, I'm a pragmatist. I don't like sticking to one formation. I want the team to play a control game. And people were like, okay, that's intriguing. We'll see how that works. And then when you see it on the pitch, people are like, oh my God, this is beautiful football. And he's just very professional, the way he handles himself. He always gives good answers. Not Vanni Sartini like, but he's always down to talk about football. And I gained a lot of respect for him, even more so after the whole Tim Ford game, where he pretty much, gave a very professional and calm response to it. But overall, the vibe with Jesper Sorensen is, this guy, as much as we love Vanni Sartini, this is the guy we needed to take the Whitecaps to the next level.
That's exactly Josh just said it right there. He was the person that was brought in to go from where they were. Vanni came into a situation kind of at the same time as Axel Schuster, where the Whitecaps kind of flew by the seat of their pants in a lot of things. I mean, when Axel came here, there was no scouting department. The recruitment was basically the coach, getting on a plane in the summer and flying around trying to find players by himself. He came in and he completely streamlined that. I mean, this is a guy that knew how to run a club. He had done it before with a couple of different clubs in Germany, and bringing in a guy like Jesper Sorensen is the next stage of what this is. When Jesper came in, he said, "I'm not here to do an evolution. I'm not here to do a revolution. I'm here to do an evolution." Right? We're basically saying, like, what's here already works. What can we do with this now? And I think that he has been very, very good at bringing that, or his philosophy, to light. This is a guy that was a midfielder during his professional career, came as a coach. He's had experience coaching at the domestic and also at the national level with the youth setup in Denmark. And I think he knows how to get his idea across. He's not a guy that's going to be yelling at you. He's a guy that's going to sit down and talk to you. And I think there's a level of professionalism that's been brought into a lot of what the Whitecaps already had going forward. Yeah, I think Josh is right. It's been a very beautiful style of football to watch. It has been very attacking. It has been very controlling. I think some of us were just surprised that the Whitecaps were capable of it. But we bought on very fast. And I think he has to be a coach that is in the conversation for Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
It would be wild. I mean, hopefully he doesn't get like Wilfred Nanseed years ago.
Right.
Yeah, wow.
I agree with you totally, because I will.
I think a lot of it's going to depend on how the playoffs come out, right? With our luck, at some point we'll be drawn with LAFC, so we'll have to see how that goes, because it's happened over the last 3 years in a row, I think.
Third time's the charm, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Here's hoping, right? Mueller.
What a game that would be!
I know.
Cinema for the Western Conference final, right there.
I'm a Spurs fan, so I'd love to see him. Set foot at BC Place. I'll be cheering against him, but I'd still like to see it.
For sure. I know Müller was lucky enough, because again, we never know when Atlanta's going to play Vancouver. Got to see him here in Atlanta during the Club World Cup, even if it was only for 10 minutes against PSG. So that was cool. But yeah, so guys, we appreciate y'all hopping on. Just let everybody know again kind of where they can find both of y'all, and then of course the show as well.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter, JoshuaRay00, Blue Sky as well. Podcast is Terminal City FC on Twitter, Blue Sky, and any podcast platform. Also Instagram, YouTube. And check out Area 51 Sports Network for Whitecaps, Canadian soccer coverage. With hockey season coming up, we're going to ramp up the hockey coverage as well.
I can be found Ndurek, Ndurec, Blue Sky, Twitter. Again, I write as well alongside Josh. So we'd love to have you.
We appreciate it, and hopefully, these two teams will play against each other at some point. Whether it's up, I want to go to Vancouver so bad, but if they play in Atlanta, we will show you guys around town. I promise.
Yeah.
I was in Atlanta back in the spring, and it's a beautiful town.
Busy.
Mercedes-Benz is a beautiful stadium.
Yeah, it is. They're lucky to have it here.
We are super, super blessed to have that place for sure.
Never gets old.
No, not at all.
Yeah, fair enough.
Cool. We appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, gentlemen.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Take care.
You guys.
Good stuff.
All right.
Yeah. Now
Vancouver, who are having a much better season than we are.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's like half of the league or 3/4 of the league, Henry. So that's not saying much. But yes, they're having a much, much, much better season than Atlanta United.
You know who else is having a better season than Atlanta United? LAFC. Because they also signed a star, much like Vancouver. They signed Son Heung-min. And he assisted in his it was his first start, right?
Yeah, first start.
He assisted in his first start.
He assisted in his first game, didn't he?
No.
His first start.
Yeah, I know. It's all blending together. But
it is.
He assisted in his first start.
Oh, he drew the penalty. He drew the penalty.
Yep, drew the penalty.
There you go. That's what he did.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
And now he scored a banger of a free kick against Dallas to secure a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
Guys, just did y'all see the goal first of all? And
I did,
because it was perfectly placed in the corner, right?
Yeah. I was watching it live, and it's like he steps to this, like, this is almost too perfect. I mean, it's a very good chance that he's going to score, and then he goes and does that, and it was just terrific seeing the reaction. He was brought here to do just that. I mean, he's not going to score goals outside the box every single time he steps on the pitch, obviously, but he's here to elevate this team's performance, and so far he's been able to do that. Look at the standings, guys. I don't think they're going to win the Shield. This is pretty much not impossible, but all but impossible to do that. But listen, they're well to have for a top 4 spot in the West. They're only 3 back of Seattle, 9 matches to go. But here's the thing: they have 2 to 3 matches in hand on everyone in front of them, so they have a chance to really move up the table. I know Andrew was joking about the possibility of them being drawn with LAFC. That's a possibility at this, or not LAFC, Vancouver. Yeah, very real possibility to see LAFC and Vancouver meet again. So I don't know. This is a team that could continue to move up the table, and who knows? This could be, I don't want to say a dark horse to make it the MLS Cup final, but a team that is, very much in the hunt to make it outside of maybe San Diego and maybe a couple other teams, guys. Who knows?
To me, and I agree with everything you're saying as far as like where they can go from here. I mean, we kind of touched on it earlier with their window.
Yeah.
He's made the team better.
I said Andrew. I meant Nathan. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go on.
But in the case of both Vancouver and LA, their big time players have come in and they've had instant impacts. What really stood out to me with this LA team and the goal, one, it had shades of, from an Atlanta perspective, that free kick by Thiago Almada. Now it wasn't. I may go the rest of my life and never see such a beautiful free kick.
Yeah.
But that one was a banger. Now, but what really stood out to me was his reaction. This dude, having spent I don't even know how many years in the Premier League,
a decade
at the top of the game, gets over here after a relatively short time during the rumors and the transfer window and all, makes his impacts and then hits this banger to pull a draw. And he is celebrating as if this is it. Like he's won, LA whatever trophy, insert trophy here.
Right.
It's refreshing to see, because I think in some circles, mostly on probably like a place called Twitter/X, there are people who they cannot look at the good in MLS. And they look at any big name that comes to MLS as washed up, whatever, insert adjectives here.
Yeah.
And for him to show up and do what he did, and then react the way that he did, it makes me happy, man. Cause I'm like, he really wants to be there.
Yeah.
We said the cultural fit, and I feel like he's showing that and then some.
I think that's the dream when you sign a player, is that not just that they say that they're happy to be there, but that they show it. Yeah. I think, the old adage, actions speak louder than words, and just seeing him celebrate. I mean, in the last game, celebrate an assist, right?
Yeah.
That was huge. And, in this game, just playing the way that he is, doing the things that he is, his smile is infectious. It's really good to see, and it's refreshing. And really, if you look at things, Son, he's played 3 games, and even though there were not 3 wins, right? It was just 1 win and 2 draws. But if you think about it, he has caused those 3 results to be, not losses. If you think about it, he was involved in both goals against New England. He was actually the one. His pressure generated a turnover to let the Marky Delgado's goal, and then he assisted the second goal, drew the penalty against Chicago to tie, and then scored this free kick against Dallas. So he is quite literally, this is an instant impact, and it's an important impact that LAFC needs. And, this is just him like literally just arriving to this team. He hasn't really built chemistry yet. That's the interesting thing. And that happens now as he starts to develop a little bit more towards, we have this home stretch of the season left before the playoffs. That's going to be interesting to see, what does this team look like once we enter, late October, we enter the playoffs early November, and we start seeing this team really, really clicking as they realize that, you are close to once again, appearing in an MLS Cup final. Once again, getting to that throne where LAFC really should be, because ever since they've entered the league, they have been one of the biggest competitive forces in the league. And I think, with Son, this has to be the year that you get MLS Cup again. I think they're fully capable of doing so.
Oh, this just super quick before we kind of turn the page here. You mentioned the smile he brings, to matches and all of that. Before the match and the lead up to the match, Steve Cherundolo said, he comes to trading every day with a smile. His been able to adjust to MLS, to your point, Henry, pretty rapidly. And not all players can do that, right? Not all players are able to fit into this league right away and have an immediate impact the way Son has had. Of course, again, we talked about it earlier, Saturday against San Diego FC, it's going to be a massive match at BMO Stadium. I imagine a sellout to watch Son Heung-min in his first ever home match for LAFC. So I'm excited to see what they can do out there in the West. And I think if you're neutral, it's going to be a lot of fun watching what he can do, not just down the stretch, but 2026 and beyond, guys.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah,
I feel like Son and Müller have kind of like taken up a lot of our most recent month of shows,
right?
For good reason.
For good reason, yeah.
But it's nice that dude gets here,
yeah,
and it immediately just starts doing work. And the same can be said for Müller. And I know obviously there was controversy with the goal itself, but like Joshua and Nathan were saying, kind of made up for the prior week when he didn't get the goal that he should have got. So anyway, heading back, not fully east, but much further east than LA and Vancouver.
The heart of America.
Yeah, the heart of America, or what they consider the soccer capital of America, which I have to argue against, considering that U.S. Soccer's headquarters is not there. But whatever.
There are 30 soccer capitals of the U.S.
Yeah, pick one. Only one has the training center. Anyway.
Have a tournament to determine which one is the best.
Whoa, it's almost like that's what MLS is.
This is not the year for Atlanta to be thrown into that tournament.
Exactly.
All right, let's not do that. But no, the kind of breaking news, I think, Sydney, that you were referring to earlier, Luch Pfannenstiel, I think is how you pronounce his name, St. Louis technical director. Gone.
Yeah. Kind of came out of nowhere, and I don't feel like, in the sense of the team wasn't performing, it came out of nowhere, but it just kind of dropped on a Monday afternoon that he's gone. And you look at the trajectory of this team, guys, from year one to today, just the dramatic drop, right? Because they were on top of the soccer world. Because we're just kind of joking about it. Soccer capital of USA, the vibes, the energy that was, no pun intended, at Energizer Park. Just you saw it. Friends of the podcast, Jake Ziv and Taylor Twellman, were there covering matches, and you can see the crowds, just the excitement. But you look at year two, they started 3-7-10 under Relly Carnell. He was sacked, didn't make the playoffs, and then year three, Olaf Melberg comes in after 70 matches. He's gone. So it sounds very much like a full reboot there, guys, in St. Louis. And guys, this is right now their coach that are looking for as many seasons in St. Louis, and now they're looking for a technical director. So it's a lot going on. Guys, kind of feels like Charlotte in the way before Dean Smith got there. I kind of liken it too, but this is a club that, again, has just nosedive, I should say, and not
nose bombed.
Yeah, but yeah, this has not been good for St. Louis. I saw someone on, I think it was Blue Sky, say something to the effect of, Luch Pfannenstiel is a case study of hiring somebody who doesn't know what he was doing. So there's some sentiment around him being underqualified for the job that he was hired for. So I feel like the kind of culmination of that was with Monday, where he was sacked. And now, again, if you're St. Louis, now you're hiring a technical director, now you're hiring a coach. The big thing is guys, you got to hire somebody with full alignment. It sounded like when they brought in Melberg, he and Pfannenstiel didn't see eye to eye as to what the technical makeup of St. Louis would be, and that ultimately led to Olaf Melberg losing his job, and now Pfannenstiel is now out of a job. So let's see what happens. I mean, this is a club that, again, has had a lot of promise in year one, and insult to injury, guys, Bradley Carnell is now has Philadelphia atop of the Shield race. So how's that for a kick to the teeth? The guy you fired is now thriving in a place where they didn't make the playoffs last year. So just to add insult to injury, like I said, yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah. So I guess Henry, Tyler, whoever wants to take it, where do you guys think they go from here? I mean, who wants to come there? I feel like there's a lot of stability. right, Tyler? I see you kind of.
No, I mean, no, I think honestly, I think it's kind of I'll bring it back home for a minute. I think it's very similar to Atlanta in a way. We right now in Atlanta, we are having this conversation about kind of the revolving door of coaching staff and players. And St. Louis, very early on in its existence, in a place, by the way, that has a great atmosphere. Like we joke around about the soccer capital of the whatever.
Yeah.
Like they play in a great stadium. They play in front of great fans. And they can't figure it out. And so I think this is the point. Don't make the same mistakes that Atlanta has made. You need to go back to the drawing board and you need to figure out a plan for the next like 5 years. And it needs to start with Van Stil's replacement. You got to go and you got to find the right guy. Yeah. And if everything, is kind of true about him, maybe not knowing exactly what he was doing. I don't know enough about the guy,
right,
to be able to give an opinion on that. But some front office folks know MLS more than others, and it shows. And so you got to go find the right guy. And from that point, you need to figure out what you have, because you're not a new club anymore. You don't have that extra bit of money that you get when you're first entering the league. So you got to really take a full inventory of who you have on the roster and then determine what kind of coach and what kind of style that you're going to bring in to then go and make the roster moves that you have to make. I think they can get back on their feet by 2026. I really do. Like it's still early enough to be able to make things happen. But this is all, it's a tough road for sure.
I'll say this quickly. When you look at the coach, who do you bring in? You have Jim Curtin available. You have Joseph Arce available. You have a number of names that you could call out to. Maybe Ben Pierman from the Charleston Battery has had success at the USL level everywhere he's been.
Gray,
maybe Gray Gowler would not like that very much, but I know. But you got to get the TD technical director move first, and then make sure again that coach Henry kind of aligns with whoever this is perfectly, because you can't risk more years of this team not being able to find their way and not being on the same page with each other.
Absolutely. The roster construction is critical. We know that from our experience here. And honestly, you have some good pieces to build off of in that St. Louis team. Roman Burke is still one of the best goalkeepers in the league, in my opinion. He's 34, so you still got some seasons of soccer for him. Goalkeepers, we have one that's almost 41 years old. But you could probably get him for a few more seasons. Leuven still in his prime. He's a really solid midfielder that you could build off of. João Klaus, even though he kind of slowed down in 2024, he didn't have a great 2024, and this season he hasn't been 2023 levels, but he's been decent. For me, he's still a very skilled forward, and one that if you build the right team around him, like a team that they had in 2023 that was, pressing high and was getting these turnovers and getting him the ball in these spots. He knows how to finish. And so if you could build off of that strength, he could be a very, very solid forward again in this league. We've seen it before. There's no reason to think that he can't do it again. And it's just a matter of filling in the rest of that roster and figuring that out. You've got some young talent. Chasiel Orozco is a really good one. And you've got pieces basically to build this project. And you just need someone experienced enough, someone that knows this league and knows the mechanisms and how to build a roster in it to come in and to help you set that up. And then obviously, like you said, the coach is important because you need the right philosophy, the right mindset to lead this team. And I don't know if the answer for them is going to be inside MLS, honestly. I think they're probably looking elsewhere. Obviously Olaf Melberg was a huge nothing, but you could still, there's other managers that you can go out and get that would fit whatever project that you're trying to build. So we'll see, but I think St. Louis is a team that maybe not next season, but I would say in a couple seasons could probably, if things are right, could potentially be back up to where they were back in 2023 in their expansion season.
I'll just add this real quick. So you mentioned Berkey. This is a contract year for him. So they have a decision to make on him at the end of this year. They have 2 DPs.
For me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe they do bring him back for a couple more years. Maybe as a bridge to the next keeper. They have 2 DPs, Klaus you mentioned, and then Hartel, who has 5 goals, 4 assists. So, let's see what he does over the next couple of years here. And they have a DP slot available. They also have 2 U22 spots available. So what do they do with those slots? Do they bring in another DP, try to elevate this team? Do they go not all in on younger players, but do they try to utilize those U22s? Those are decisions that the new TD is going to need to make in concert, guys, with whoever the new head coach is. So if you're St. Louis, this is a move that this is a hire that you can't afford to miss out on, because as good as this team has been, it has been the exact opposite over years 2 and years 3. We mentioned Atlanta United. You don't want a fan base to lose interest in the team after a couple of years. So quite the challenge for St. Louis. They need the right person. They need the right individuals to come in, take a good look at this roster and say, hey, how can we make it better? And how can we get St. Louis competitive again in the Western Conference and in MLS as a whole?
For sure.
Yeah.
So really quickly, because we're going to roll through the next couple of things, but I do have to throw out some semi-breaking news that's very relevant to MLS Monday. And I mean, it actually is. This is from Footy Headlines, which, if you don't know, Footy Headlines, if anybody's releasing a kit, Footy Headlines is going to be the people that are going to do it.
Right.
The new, I guess the Adidas third kits, the archive kits, which I think is funny considering they have Austin in here. The rumor per Footy Headlines is you get the 8 ones for next year are going to be Austin, which I think is insane. Chicago Fire, Houston Dynamo, Montreal, Orlando, Philly, Salt Lake, and Vancouver. So
I want to see those vintage Austin FC kits, Tyler.
I know, right?
Really interested to see.
It's so funny because theirs is the only logo that is the same.
It's the exact same. I mean, Philly's is close,
but the shades are different.
The shades
Orlando, I can see because he had Orlando City in the USL, but Austin FC.
It's freaking awesome.
Montreal Impact.
What, like 4 years old at this point?
The Montreal Impact. I mean, they have the Montreal Impact there, so that's included. But yeah, it's kind of funny, like we were saying, to see Austin FC on that list. So yeah, those are the 8 teams that look like they will have the archive kit in 2026.
Yeah,
guys.
It's looking like that'll be in the middle of the summer. So
yeah.
I mean, a calendar year from now, but
yeah,
it'll be neat to see. And then, of course, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that Atlanta's going to get one ever, but whatever.
It's funny to me that Austin's getting one before Atlanta.
Right, exactly.
Wild.
That's funny.
All right, so moving on from that, let's dive in to San Diego, who has clinched a playoff spot.
Yes.
The clinching and eliminating is happening. DC eliminated. San Diego clinched.
Yeah.
What do y'all think?
Deserved. It's been coming. Yeah. I think it's great that they've done this. I think, everyone was kind of doubtful of them. A lot of people were skeptical of them coming into the season. Pretty much all of MLS pundits and such were putting them towards the bottom of the West, and they are currently leading the West and close to the Shield lead that Philadelphia has it right now, but they're very close to that. They're playing some really, really good soccer.
Yeah.
Their main star man coming into the season, Chucky Lozano, isn't even their best player right now because it's Anders Dreyer, who has just come in and is having an MVP level season.
MVP candidate, yeah.
I think he's got, 14 goals and 17 assists at this point. It's insane. He is literally the best winger in MLS right now, or maybe top 3 at least. But,
only behind Miggy.
It's an excellent team. Mikey Varas has done a fantastic job, and definitely, I mean, we're talking about Jesper Sorensen as one of the candidates for Coach of the Year. Mikey Varas has got to be up there, guys. And for me, Mikey Varas is probably the favorite.
100%. But But let me ask you guys this. I mean, looking at the standings, they're a point back of the Shield lead with 6 matches to play at LAFC this weekend. Like we already mentioned, home against Minnesota, at Atlanta, home against San Jose, at Houston.
Points.
Yeah, at Houston.
Atlanta's 3 points.
Yeah,
so.
right. But yeah, San Jose at home, at Houston, at Portland. Guys, this is a pretty decent schedule for them. Really, outside of LAFC, I feel like that's the most. LAFC and Minnesota are the most challenging matches on that schedule right now. So this could be a team, guys. Through these final 6 matches, this could be a team that could get 18 points minimum out of these next 4 matches. If they take care of business. I mean, I'm sorry, 12 points. 12 points out of 18, and that would position them very well to win the Shield, I think. Now we got to look at Philadelphia, and we'll talk about Philly, who's at the top, obviously, but don't count them out. Don't count them out. This is a team that, again, the schedule works out very favorably for them going down the stretch. So I would not be surprised, guys. It's never happened. Never had an expansion team win the Supporters Shield, but here's San Diego FC could win it in year 1. It's pretty unbelievable.
And then go on to win MLS Cup.
Hey, replicate what the Fire did in their first season, right?
Yeah.
But no,
yeah,
but no, Mikey VAR is Coach of the Year, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, you heard it here first. MLS Cup final is San Diego FC versus Nashville SC.
Yep.
In Snapdragon Stadium.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Speaking of Nashville and Cincinnati.
This whole Shield race has been unbelievable, guys.
Yeah,
it's one of the best in recent years.
Yeah,
no one's running away with it.
It's been genuinely entertaining. And Nashville, you talk about how well they're playing. I mean, they've been maybe a little up and down, but mostly up. 5-1.
Yeah.
Over a good Orlando team.
Rotated, but still a big win. Yeah.
I mean, to dump 5 on anybody, that's a thing. So the four behind Philly, got 6 to play. One of those again is Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then at Cincinnati, at Orlando, Houston, at Montreal, Miami.
You know what's the worst part is that Nashville could potentially be the team that eliminates Atlanta United from the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
We say that obviously being an Atlanta United podcast, but it's probably what's going to happen. And I mean, looking at the schedule, it's a tough schedule. Cincinnati, Orlando away, always a challenge. Miami on decision day is wild, but I'm sure they will have playoffs locked up before then. It's just a matter of position, I think, because they are. You are in that bubble, aren't you? Right? Yeah. You are within striking distance of the Shield, but it's not easy. 50 points. Philadelphia's leading with 54. I mean, I don't think that they get the Shield, guys. I think it's too tough with 3 games where I genuinely can't say that they are favorites or that I can see them really, really winning it. I just don't see that happening. I think it's probably going to be either San Diego or Philly taking the Shield, guys.
Yeah, if you look at Nashville, right, the 3-game losing streak they just went through didn't do them any favors. And if you look at their schedule, guys, we already talked about it. You'd need probably 15 points out of 18 to have a shot at the Shield. And even then, that might not be enough. So anything short of that is probably not going to be enough to get you to the Shield. But again, they didn't give a really good account of themselves before they played Orlando. And Orlando, again, they rotated, but still a very confident win against Orlando, but maybe too little too late as far as the Shield is concerned. But you still have Nashville playing at a very high level down the stretch here, who could be maybe a team that could give a lot of teams in the Eastern Conference something to think about going down the stretch. I mean, Cincinnati, another team that could be in the Shield race with 6 matches to play, 2 points back of Philadelphia even after losing to the Red Bulls. What do you guys make of them? I mean, looking at their schedule, do you think they make it? Do you think that they fall short? I mean, looking at who they have to play next.
I I think it's hard to count them out, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like we're saying, it is such a tight race overall that, I mean, none of them would surprise me.
Yeah.
But we talk about the teams in this summer window earlier that we thought, kind of had the best. All of these are up there for the most part. And so, no, I mean, I could see, I agree with what y'all are saying about Nashville, but like Cincy, I could see them just keeping it rolling, and they're going to be hard to beat no matter what.
Let's look at who they played just real quick. Philly, Nashville at home, at the Galaxy, Orlando at home, at the Red Bulls, home against Montreal on decision day. So I feel like 9 points minimum out of those next 6. Maybe you get a result out of those other 3 home matches. 12 points. I mean, that gives you half a chance. So you don't want to say anything is out of the equation for Cincinnati.
I mean, at LA, who's figuring it out. But I think you got that one. I think you can handle that. Red Bulls and Montreal, like that.
Both those are toss ups.
Red Bulls are just so hot and cold at this point.
Yeah, so weird. I mean, Philly, tough. Nashville, we just got done talking about them, tough.
Yeah.
Orlando, I am curious because I think what you see in the next week or two is going to determine Orlando's fate entirely. So, not easy, but it's also not the worst. Like Brett saying in the chat, Philly's schedule is not a cakewalk. And even though they're there, like you still got to hold on to it for a few more weeks.
Exactly.
So.
And throw this into the mixer. Both Nashville and Philly face each other in the U.S. Open Cup semifinals.
Yep.
So that happens literally in the middle of September, right between Philadelphia's games at Vancouver and against New England. They played the semifinal midweek of that. And so it'll be interesting to see, do they rotate in MLS now that you're so close? You are 2 wins away from winning a trophy that gets you a spot in CONCACAF Champions Cup. How do they what do they prioritize? Because as we get closer to the stretch, it's going to be tough to make those decisions because you're not guaranteed the Shield. The Shield is a very tough race, and MLS Cup, that is several more wins away. So I think both of these teams are going to go all in on U.S. Open Cup.
Quickly, I'll throw a name out there who really I don't feel like anybody's talking about. Minnesota. They, of course, just sold Olowasei overseas. 4 points back in the Shield with 6 to play. Brought in Trantis from Sunderland, Farinia from Cerro Porteño. He's coming in on loan. Their schedule is, not too bad. Portland at home at San Diego. That's going to be the toughest one. Home against Chicago at the Rapids. Home against Sporting Kansas City at LA Galaxy. So can they kind of make a run at it themselves? I feel like it's going to be a little tough for them to do that, though. So a team that, again, not a lot of people are talking about, maybe they should. I'm sure they would agree that more people need to be talking about them because watch them make MLS Cup at this rate.
Literally anyone could at this point. We've seen that position doesn't really matter when it comes to MLS Cup. Anyone can make it. There's no real favorites that you can call. And it's the same, especially with this. We have such a tight Shield race, such a tight season. Again, anyone could be in for the Shield and for MLS Cup.
We got to talk about League Cup.
Charlotte.
Yeah, just super quick about Charlotte. This team can't lose, guys. 7 in a row. You have New England coming up on the road, so very well could be 8. Miami's going to be the tough one with or without Messi. Then at New York City, home against Montreal, at DC, at Philly, or at DC, home against Philly on decision day. If you look at Charlotte right now, top 4 team in the Eastern Conference, guys, early in the year we were talking about this team kind of sinking, but they have really corrected course and gotten things turned around. Now they're top 4 in the Eastern Conference on a tiebreak against Orlando. So is Charlotte a team that could make things happen? Only thing I will say about Charlotte's schedule, though, it's a little weak over that 7-game win streak. Cincinnati and Cincinnati is certainly the easiest one. NYC is another tough one, but then DC at Atlanta, Toronto, RSL, Red Bulls. Not a lot of convincing teams among that list. So as the season kind of comes to a close here over these next 6 matches, could Charlotte continue to flex its muscle and look like a team that is a legitimate contender in the Eastern Conference. I think how they do that at the stretch will tell us a lot about what their prognosis is for the rest of the season and going into playoffs. But now, just want to give them a quick shout out. But now, let's switch to Leagues Cup because that is happening on Wednesday, guys.
Real quick, hang on with Charlotte. I got to throw out there. So they went into the beginning of the season on fire, and then fell apart.
Yeah,
like not in the worst way, but it was like they hit a wall.
5 in a row lost. Yeah,
it got rough for a minute, but yeah, I think consistently over the course of the entire season, they've shown they've got the tools. I just, again, like Henry was saying a minute ago, you make it to the playoffs. It's anybody's game.
Yeah.
I just don't know that they've got enough to beat the teams that are the favorites above them.
Right.
For we talked about the Supporter Shield and how close of a race it is. Those teams are really, really good.
Yeah.
Here's
the thing, right? In a single elimination format, I could definitely see it happening, them putting the results together. I just don't know about a 3-game series if they go in as the away team.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, all right, with that, now let's jump over. Leagues Cup is back. Didn't really leave, but it's back on Wednesday. Semifinals: Miami versus Orlando, and the Galaxy versus Seattle.
Wait,
Galaxy,
I thought there were
for
2
some
leagues in
reason,
this tournament. Why is it just MLS teams? What?
Galaxy just continue to hang around in this tournament, guys.
Good for them.
Yeah. I mean,
it's their chance to make this season mean something, make something positive out of the season, because playoffs pretty much out of the picture for them, right? This first 16 games winless to start the season. There's no recovering from that, unfortunately. But you're 2 wins away, actually 1 win away from a CONCACAF Champions Cup spot, and 2 wins away from a trophy after having won MLS Cup last season. So it's huge for them, and it's great to see that. And Seattle is an interesting team because they have won pretty much everything, right? They've won MLS Cup, they have won CONCACAF Champions Cup. I'm trying to think of the name of the tournament. And now, they were the first MLS team to play they played in the Club World Cup. Now having the chance to win Leagues Cup, I mean, they've got a trophy case, and they have been consistently over the past decade one of the best teams in MLS. And so, that's going to be interesting to see which of those 2 teams makes it through. But for the storylines, I kind of want it to be LA Galaxy.
I do too.
Yeah. So, just quickly looking at, Miami and Orlando. Of course, Miami's won it last year. Orlando, just the one trophy since coming to MLS from the USL. So that's going to be part of what they're looking at too. This is a team very much obviously in the playoff race, just like Miami. So interesting to see how that plays into rotation. We already talked about how it played into rotation this past weekend against Nashville, but to me, it looks like Orlando is settling or coming to grips with the fact that they pretty much are a non-factor in the Shield race at this point, just going all in on this tournament, while understanding that, hey, we're still in a good spot when it comes to the Eastern Conference standings, that, hey, we can win this trophy and possibly make a push to our first MLS Cup. So Miami, if you look at Miami, obviously the big question is, will Messi be available? So I think that's obviously the wild card. Can Suarez, play up to the standard? The ball will certainly be in that discussion. And then LA Seattle, like you were saying, Henry, Galaxy are just going to go for it. This is their one and only chance of the trophy. There's a one and only chance of getting back to Champions Cup. So that's going to inform everything they do from here on out. And like you said, if they win, they beat Seattle, they're in. If they win the tournament, they're in around the 16. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see.
And it's weird. We have this conversation about these 4 teams. It's weird calling LA Galaxy. It's weird calling any prior MLS Cup champion the underdog, but they are.
Yeah.
I think it would be an intriguing final to have LA and Miami, and I kind of think that's what it's going to be. I really do. I think LA figures it out, and Miami tends to figure it out. Orlando, they're going to have something to say. because they have this running joke that Messi doesn't want to play Orlando. I don't know. But I see this being an LA Miami final, personally.
I don't know. I think it's Miami Seattle. I think Seattle's strength, the strength up and down the roster is just maybe too strong for LA. Now, the one thing to keep in mind, guys, Musovski will not be available for the Sounders due to a really stupid red card that he got the other night in the quarterfinals. So that's sort of the storyline going into this one. I still think Seattle, talent-wise, up and down their roster, I still think they're the better team than the Galaxy. So I do say that it's Miami and Seattle in the final and Clint punching their tickets to 2026 Champions Cup.
Yeah, mind you, Danny Musovski coming off scoring his first MLS hat trick this past weekend in a 5-2 demolition of Sporting Kansas City. These two teams actually played each other before. The LA Galaxy and the Sounders played August 10th, and it was a beatdown. The Sounders put 4 on the Galaxy. 2 of those coming from Danny Musovski himself, who again won't be available for this game. But I still think, for me, Seattle is still the stronger team. But I really want the Galaxy to pull through for the storyline. It'd be amazing. Like, imagine just tanking the entire first half of the season and still winning a trophy. That'd be legendary stuff. So hopefully our friends
European Mind
across the
Connect
Galaxy get
that.
We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. Really quick, you'll go visit scarvesandspikes.com if you haven't already. And you can actually put in your email there, get our articles sent straight to your email, by the way. But go visit the website, all your Atlanta United coverage. On there, you can visit the shop, get you guys a coffee mug like the one I've been drinking out of this entire show. Get you a hat, get you a shirt, get you a hoodie, whatever you need, and help support the show. Patreon.com/scarvesandspikes. Any of the tiers get you into our Discord, which also includes our watch-alongs. The $5 and $10 tiers have more benefits, more exclusives, more pieces, things that we do. Recently, Gray and Tommy hopped on talking about the college and kind of academy pipeline, everything going on there. And Henry had a really good piece with Javier Perez at the Atlanta United, really the whole pipeline, the main development guy at Atlanta United.
Yeah.
So go join, again, patreon.com/scarvesandspikes. Our unsponsored at the moment still matches to watch for the upcoming match day. What do you have?
Easily LAFC San Diego. I mean, Son making his home debut at BMO Stadium. Like I said earlier, sort of going to be a sellout out there in LA, near downtown LA. It's going to be the match of the weekend for me. With respect to Henry, what you put down, and Tyler, I don't know what you have.
I got a decent one, but I agree with you.
Right, but no, all eyes are going to be in the Sun, right? And all eyes are going to be in San Diego because this is important for them as they look to get a step closer to possibly winning the Supporter Shield in their first season. One thing to keep an eye on, Ryan Hollingshead will not be available for LAFC due to the yellow card accumulation. So that's a wrinkle for LAFC, but I think it's going to be a really good match out there on the West Coast and Southern California, guys. A derby between LAFC and San Diego. And really excited to see how that takes place, not just obviously for Son, but really just for the derby and the atmosphere out there in Southern California, Henry.
Yeah, for me, my pick is Cincy versus Philly. That is literally the top 2 teams in the Shield race. Can't get much better than that. I think it's a case of, winner. If Philadelphia wins, then they take a significant lead at the top of the Shield. They are probably going to be very tough to catch. And then if Cincinnati wins, well, then that just makes things a little bit more interesting because you still have a very tight race. And these teams, it gives a chance for these teams like Nashville, Orlando, Charlotte to kind of catch up a little bit. San Diego even to catch up. So yeah, I'm just excited. 2 really good teams, really, really fun teams to watch this season. They've been playing really, really nice, really good soccer. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So mine kind of ties into both of y'all's actually. Mine is Orlando and Vancouver. You have Orlando, who, as we mentioned, are going to be playing in the Leagues Cup semifinals midweek. And again, that is going to be their best route to a trophy. Vancouver, still in the race for Supporter Shield. So you kind of like their chances as good as they've been playing, and considering that Orlando has some midweek stuff going on, but they are playing in Florida. And this is the first time, by the way, they played 5 times together against each other. They have not played since before COVID.
Yeah.
2019 was the last time they played. Vancouver has a 3-1-1 overall record in this one. So I think if Vancouver can pull this off, depending on what Minnesota does, it bumps them up into second in the West.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Supporter Shield kind of gets thrown up in whatever way. If San Diego, talking about your match, Sydney with LA, if that doesn't go San Diego's way, then that really, really throws a wrench into the Western Conference top 3.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
It'll be fun. It'll be a good time. All 3 of these are bangers. And of course, you do have I'm just going to throw it out there, the drunken uncle match of the week is the Canadian derby between Toronto and Montreal.
Oh my gosh. 1-1 draw.
Yeah. All the makings of a 1-1.
Both of the goals will be own goals. There will be 3 red cards. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I like it.
By the way, guys, I know we're at the end of the show, but I want to throw this out there because literally it popped up on my Twitter feed. Apparently, Caleb Porter said in a press conference that the 2021 Revs were, quote, not that good. And we're talking about the same Revs that set the single season point record with 73 points. Mind you, a little bit of context here coming from Caleb Pongratz. In almost 2 seasons under Caleb Porter, the Revs have 62 total points. So,
gosh.
Geez, Caleb Porter. I'm not
how
sure
how the Revs doing again, by the way.
Well, they're not in the playoffs. I'll tell you that.
Sometimes you just shouldn't open your mouth.
Yeah, just
just leave that in the drafts folder, dude.
Oh gosh,
that did not
Caleb Porter.
They're 11th with 31 points. They're 8 points behind the playoff line.
I would say he's fired out of this season, but I mean,
he seems to somehow hang on, doesn't he?
That's more about the craft than it is Caleb Porter. But
Caleb Porter's got more lives than a cat. Jeez,
I know.
And he says this stuff too, so he's like not helping his case either.
No, he's not. He's not. Real quick before you get out of here, obviously subscribe to us on YouTube if you aren't already. Thanks for watching us. If you're watching us live on YouTube, we're live every Monday night with MLS Monday, live 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesdays with our regular MLS show. Henry has his Across the Pitch feature before every match day. We're live before every match day. Every match, I should say, live before every match and not before every match on YouTube at X. And then Sundays, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, is our live match reaction podcast. So join us on YouTube, youtube.com. Just search Scarves and Spikes. And again, as we always say, be sure to rate us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeart, and subscribe on there as well. You can find the audio version official and pretty much all of our content, including our 3 takeaways after every Atlanta United match on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeart. Rate us 5 stars. Leave a review. Let us know how we're doing. Helps us, be better at what we do. We love feedback. We love hearing from you all who watch and listen. So definitely let us know how we're doing. And yeah, I think that's it, Tyler.
That be it. This is a good one. And big shout out to Joshua and Nathan from Terminal City for hopping on with us and chatting Vancouver and all the shenanigans that happened this past weekend, but Vancouver as a whole. It was a pleasure. So big shout out to them.
Real quick, also follow us at Scarves, the letter, and Spikes on X, scarvesandspikes.com on Blue Sky, Scarves and Spikes on Instagram and Threads, facebook.com/scarvesandspikes.
That was a good just like pause. There was a period there and then music.
Yep.
I like it.
Would you prefer an exclamation point?
That's always good too.
Bang. Just no fade, just full volume, just bang, blast the music. Next time.
Yeah.
Jump scare the audience, jump scare the guys on Spotify or listening on Apple Podcasts. Listen to just the audio, like as they're driving to work tomorrow, right? They listen back to this and the outro just blasts.
We don't want to cause accidents for our friends listening on the podcast.
No, here's the thing. We don't have any sirens. We don't have any horns. We don't have any tires screeching in our podcast. That crap, that irritates me so much, man. I hate it. It makes me so angry. I will change the radio station if I hear that in the car. Like, it's so immature.
So you're saying we should do it?
And this is coming from like a podcast that gives very good information, but can be immature at times. Don't.
Okay, boomer.
Never.
Nah, I feel you. We won't do that.
We might put like a random velociraptor screaming in the background, but not.
That's so random. Velociraptor screaming.
That's the first one you.
Is that your Velociraptor impression? Cast this guy in the next Jurassic World.
Right.
I'm gonna be the broken velociraptor.
Yeah.
The Temu Velociraptor.